Race number 5 at Belmont Park. It is Perth race number 10 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1,300 metres, and trainer Adam Durant looks as though he's got a competitive hand in this race.
Yeah, he does. Well, Aloha Miss was a great winner the other day, and Zoe Tomtaya, well, I think she was just carrying too much weight last start given what she had done previously. And I think coming into this campaign, second up run, she should be a lot better.
The winning combination of Grant Williams and William Pike was absolute last start with Joyful Hope. It was an impressive victory, winning by over a length. Let's take a look at that win now.
Hope about to collar it though. They're two in front of Boom Boom Bang in the red colours coming out to the middle of the track. Under the whip though, Little Sincero's picking up nicely over towards the flat. Followed in behind those, here comes Bonkers. Joyful Hope though, 200 from home. Races clear. Dendy further back is starting to run on, but Joyful Hope's kicked away from them. Dendy giving chase, finishing strongly down the outside from Little Sincero, but Joyful Hope too good. Joyful Hope beat Dendy.
Yeah, I love that performance by Joyful Hope. The money came for it and the victory was very comfortable in the end. And I think there was about 5 races over the 1,300 metres on the same day, and Joyful Hope was by far and away the best, dropping down to the 54 kilograms. Ideal barrier. I think this is another great opportunity for 2 in a row.
Zoe Tomtaya had such a good relationship her last campaign with Peter Hall. Aloha Miss has a very good second up record, and Clint Johnson Porter rode her very well last up. Which one do you prefer?
Definitely the 3 Zoe Tomtaya. Speaking of the same day with Joyful Hope on sectional times, Aloha Miss was the worst by far. So a big discrepancy for me between those two. But Zoe Tomtaya, I think what she accomplished last campaign was outstanding.
I thought Cadenza's run last start was really good as well. Like beaten 2 lengths by Queen of Choice. She's just so honest, just continues to keep giving.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it hasn't really performed statistically above 1,200 metres, but the way she hit the line last night, I have no doubt that more than capable of competing in this.
Well, let's take a look at selections then. I'm going to be tipping number 11, Joyful Hope. From number 3, Zoe Tomtaya. Number 4, Cadenza. And number 5, Aloha Miss.
On 11, Joyful Hope on top. From number 6, Believe You Can. The 4, Cadenza. Number 3, Zoe Tomtaya.
Race number 6 at Belmont Park. It is Perth race number 12 for our Singapore viewers. And the 2,100 metre races often throws up a bit of a surprise result, and I'm looking forward to this one. Nunca Tarinda has shown some form. O'Reilly's Crumpet, a progressive type, and State Form always there and abouts.
I definitely think this race will most likely be run from the horses at the top of the weights. Nunca Tarinda really surprised at big odds last start. I'm a Blue Bagger was not too bad the other day, and State Form finished alongside some decent horses the other day, so I think it's probably where we should be looking.
Well, Nunca Tarinda, as you mentioned, was just beaten. There was a protest. It was dismissed in the end. Let's take a look at the closing stages.
Nunca Tarinda, an Arctic Bolt. Born Brilliant starting its run down the outside, and so's our mate Al coming through the middle. And at that stage, the rider had lost the cloth part of his cap. Further back then on the outside, running on behind those is Can't You See That? Our mate Al, the leader. Nunca Tarinda, though, now starts to really take it on. It's Nunca Tarinda, our mate Al and Nunca Tarinda. Our mate Al kicks back on the inside.
So Nunca Tarinda there, very good performance at big odds, just going down to our mate Al, whose form lines are alongside State Form, who was alongside it. So I think those forms are probably much in the same.
O'Reilly's Crumpet comes out of the same race. Can you see it getting the edge on it this time?
It's so hard to look at this galloper. I didn't see much last start. And we look at the form. Its first up run, it was soundly beaten by Rattlehead. The second start, it was a great victory against Sarah and Delight, but neither of those horses have beaten anything. And looking at O'Reilly's Crumpet's last performance, I don't know where this horse is at.
What about number 2, State Form? I reckon Jason Miller's pulling his hair out at the moment with this horse. Not doing anything wrong, but still hasn't won now for 693 days. Clint Johnson Porter to ride, so just the 55 kilos from barrier 3.
Yeah, I think down in class here with his claim, it puts itself right into this race. I thought the last start effort was decent behind Drive West. That was on a Saturday level, so I think that translates well enough here.
Well, let's take a look at selections then. I'm going to be tipping number 4, Nunca Tarinda. From number 5, O'Reilly's Crumpet. Number 8, Gold Invader. And number 2, State Form.
I'm number 3 on top, GPS for a bit of a mad one from 2, State Form. Number 4, Nunca Tarinda. And number 5, O'Reilly's Crumpet.
Race number 7 at Belmont Park. It is Perth race number 13 for our Singapore viewers over the 1,650 metres. We've got a contrast of runners here. We've got horse number 1, Ancient Spell, having its 75th start, and horse number 4, Corella, which is having its second start in the same race.
Yeah, and I think probably the punters would prefer to be on the New Blood in Corralabak, which was a great effort first up. Look, it came against a very ordinary field. Not many of those went on to their next start to achieve anything. The Times certainly showed it was poor, but what it has is scope and progressiveness, and it was an excellent performance in the end.
Closing stages were very impressive with that late turn of foot. So let's take a look at that victory now.
Up now, making a line of 3 almost. Almighty Zeus behind them. Harvey's hard at work on Ignite the Sky. Followed further back then by Street Shadow. Magic Nino's coming right down the outskirts of the track. At the 200, Frogs are leaping. Hit the front from Almighty Zeus. And now Corella is starting to wind up as well. Coming to the 100 though, Frogs are leaping. Almighty Zeus, Corella on the outside for Pike, races to the lead. Corella gets the money first.
I just labelled the negatives about Corella, but from that grounding, the sky's the limit. I think it can really develop into a nice progressive runner. Adam Durant, William Pike, that is just a winning combination for a middle distance horse, and I think Corella is one of the ones to beat.
There's not too many trainers that can get a horse first up over 1,600 with the 58 kilos, other than Adam Durant. A very impressive performance. What about number 2, Starkle? I thought it was a really good run last start, obviously stepping up in distance now.
Yeah, it's very consistent at around this level. Last start behind Sulholm was good, the 2.5 lengths. I just think it's a bit of a gradual step up in distance. I just wanted a more gradual step up rather than the quick leap to 1,650. But it does have a good record at this trip.
Number 10, Six Legion, been hard to catch this horse, so we've expected a lot throughout the campaign. I think probably overall in summary we've been disappointed, but the blinkers go on and Jared Noske to ride.
Yeah, with this galloper's historical form, but also its ability to let the punters down, it almost makes this race very difficult to have much courage to have a bet in, because if it turns up at its best, it wins. If it produces what it did the other day, then you've done your money early. So blinkers on Jared Noske, a couple of positives there. I'm happy to give it one more chance.
Well, let's take a look at selections then. I'm going to be tipping number 4, Corella on top, from number 2, Starkle, number 10, Six Legion, and number 11, Frogs are Leaping.
Number 10, Six Legion on top, from number 5, Present Arms, number 4, Corella, and number 1, Ancient Spell.
Race number 8 at Belmont Park. It is Perth, race number 14 for our Singapore viewers. Also over the 1,650 metres, and we see a few familiar names there, the likes of Wanderer, Gone Diggin', also Penthouse Pet, but then a few newcomers there, and I'd speak of Seren Delight as well, coming back to Belmont, only had the one run at the track.
Yeah, this is a tough race because the form lines to me are very murky, and I don't know what are the better ones. Look, if we haven't done our job in the previous 7 races, then I feel sorry for the punters, because this is going to be a tough race to get out.
May not be the get-out race that you're looking for. Well, let's look at the last start's winner. We'll analyse the form lines after this, but Seren Delight was able to win by 2 lengths after the money came for it.
Behind them, at the head of the others, then came Oh So Smooth. Becca's still well back in the field. 300 left to go. Pike makes his move with Gold Invader. Levels up to On a Rock. Kieran Delight, though, claims them both. It's Kieran Delight on the outside, down to the 150, going to the lead from On a Rock. Gold Invader calling it a day very quickly. Then Oh So Smooth, but Kieran Delight pulls clear. Kieran Delight drew away to beat On a Rock.
It was a great victory by Seren Delight, but once again, just concerned with the form lines I mentioned earlier about O'Reilly's Crumpet. On a Rock, I think, is close to a 26 start maiden, something like that. So I'm not overly convinced, and it will be a long way back in the field, and we'll need to run on from a long way off to win this.
I've been really impressed with the Wanderer this campaign. Jordan Turner's right again, so the 58 kilos, and it's just exceeded my expectations, stepping up in distance as well, and I'm intrigued to see how it goes over the 1650. Again, does have a good track and distance record.
Yeah, like you, I've almost underrated it all the way through this campaign, but I'm certainly on board here as a good place chance. It is very difficult from that barrier, and also it's getting up a bit in the weight with the 58, but put a huge effort with the 60 kilograms on prior this campaign.
I'm intrigued about number 2, My Fascination as well. Justine Erkland just seems to know when the good run in her stable is about to come, and with the blinkers going on, Jared Noske going on as well, I think it might be just about there.
Yeah, a couple of positives there, and I agree with you. I just have a feeling about My Fascination. Very hard to be overly confident on it given its recent form, but there's just positives there, and it's drawn well. I think it's a good chance.
Another horse that I think will certainly be attacking the line strongly is number 9, Nancy G. We see the horse come out of the Oaks and the Classic. The run in the Oaks was really good as well. Can it win a race like this?
I'd like to think so, and I think this stable would like to think so as well. Look, it was challenged at the Oaks and the Classic too, listed races, so if they had confidence to take it there, then surely they think they can win a midweek race.
Well, let's take a look at selections then for the final race of the day, and I'm going to be tipping number 5, Seren Delight, from number 4, Penthouse Pet, number 1, Wanderer, and number 2, My Fascination.
I'm 9, Nancy G on top, from 2, My Fascination, number 13, Baby Baby, number 1, Wanderer.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of Box Lead, so it's time now to take a look at the best bets. I'm going to be tipping race 2, number 1, Bache, and race 3, number 6, Paddy's Flat.
I'm with you with Paddy's Flat. Race 3, number 6, Paddy's Flat, and race 5, number 11, Joyful Hope.
As we always say, Ian, you can follow us on social media. Of course, at Perth Racing on Twitter, we'll be giving all of the late mail and also trainer comments. And you gave us the headline last week, a Street Bandit to win. Have you got one for us this week?
How about man falls asleep in cafeteria for having 10 of the most delicious burgers at the Perth Racing.
Amelia Park Burgers.
Oh, they are the best.
There we go. So that might be on perthracing.com.au. We hope we found you winners throughout this card. We'll be back again with another edition of Box Seat on Saturday.